TrueCommerce complement BC?
That sort of synergy of working together.
A business would want to focus on their core.
How do you know which businesses are the best fit?
Otherwise, you are risking your business.
Pressure on resources within businesses to actually do the manual bits that should be being done automatically.
How they're rethinking their strategies.
So obviously, working with them to establish what those challenges were and how we needed to address them was really going to be key.
So we implemented business and tools, sales CRM, brought in EDI.
Issue has come from, is it the ERP? Is it the extension?
Which means that there's a red flag.
Biggest challenges that companies are facing in today's time?
I would say that 99% of our customers.
ERP is just one part of it. It's not everything.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Dynamics Insight webcast. I'm Ramita, your host. Today we are diving into the world of supply chain. Yes, and commerce, of course. Now I know that might sound like a serious topic, but honestly, it's where all the action happens. And from customer orders to maybe supplier relationships to online marketplaces, this is the engine that keeps a business moving, right? So I'm joined today by Shelby from TrueCommerce, who brings deep expertise in making supply chains smarter, of course, and Nitesh Sharma from Dynamic Square UK, who is working with businesses every day to implement Dynamics 365. Together, we'll explore how Microsoft and TrueCommerce fit together and what trends are shaping in supply chains in 2025 and how business can actually future-proof themselves. So welcome Nitesh and Shelby to this webcast. We are so glad to have you both here. We would like to have an introduction from your side, Shelby and Nitesh, so that our audience could relate to.
Of course. Shall I go first, Nitesh? Is that okay?
Yeah, please,
sure.
please go.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a bit of a time in the making this, haven't we? We've had some delays, so I'm really pleased that we're here today doing it. So I mean, I've been in the software industry now for over 15 years, I think.
Wow.
Mainly within ERP and PLM software, and I'll be completely honest, 5 years ago, didn't even know what EDI was, had never heard of it. But I guess why would you, right? Unless you've kind of encountered it and you're working with it, it's just a mystery, and it's why would you have heard of it? But it's actually one of those great wonders of the tech industry that when it actually works, it's invisible. So it's perfect for what it does. TrueCommerce has actually been in the EDI industry for about 35 years now. It's kind of our bread and butter. And I think with all the advancements in technology, it's only getting stronger. So it's a really exciting time to start talking about this.
Yeah, perfect. And Nitesh, what about you?
Thank you, Ramita, for having me here, and thank you, Shelby, for joining in. Really excited to discuss more about obviously how TrueCommerce and Dynamics 365 can bring in the expertise and obviously the insights and the solutioning to the prospective clients. I'm Nitesh, and I lead the sales and go-to-market for Dynamics Square. I've been with the business for more than 8 years now. And my main role is to help companies streamline not only their back office operations, but also bring in automations, obviously, thanks to the TrueCommerce team on EDI and some other add-ons that we work with on top of Dynamics 365. So yeah, we're looking forward to the session today and to learn from both of you and share my insights in terms of how we are helping our clients to achieve more. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Nitesh and Shelby, both for your introduction. Let's do an icebreaker maybe. Okay, before we jump into EDI and commerce, how's the day been so far, and how hopefully it's less chaotic than a warehouse on a Tuesday morning, I feel.
I think any day is less chaotic than a warehouse on a Tuesday morning. I think chaos is what drives us.
That is so
It's what
true.
gets me out of bed in the morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's been quite good. Had a few client calls this morning and obviously prepared for this session. So yeah, good morning so far.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
we've had
yes.
similar mornings, Nitesh.
So let's make this one of the nicest morning we can ever have for this week now. Yes, let's begin. So,
Absolutely.
okay, Shelby, let's start with you today. Could you
Yeah.
share a little bit about your journey in this commerce technology space and what excites you most about True Commerce's missions on today's time?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said earlier, TrueCommerce have been around for sort of 35 years, and our main focus is EDI. We have supplementary things, but EDI has always been at the core, and it's critical infrastructure for supply chain. You mentioned earlier that supply chain is what keeps our businesses going and our world turning, and that's what we do, is we support that. We've worked with Microsoft now for, gosh, what seems like forever, and it's given us a wealth of knowledge. As you can imagine,
Yeah.
that knowledge changes on a daily basis sometimes. But it's really allowed us to kind of develop our solution to work seamlessly with the Microsoft Business Central, and for us FNSCM as well. But it empowers businesses really to automate their supply chain and get rid of those manual processes. So it's a really exciting time for us at the moment. We're a global organization, and I guess one of the things that I love about TrueCommerce is, although we're a global organization, we have a very local feel. We have offices around the world and can support locally. So I think that's one of the things I love about TrueCommerce.
That's perfect. I mean, I love what True Commerce does is actually they turn this chaos into that clarity, which is definitely something very attractive to any business, and they would
Yeah.
actually sign up for, right? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what about you, Nitesh? How was everything in Dynamic Square and the business central perspective we are going to know from you in this webcast? Uh,
Absolutely.
Obviously integrated with True Commerce, yes, but yeah, what are your perspective in this?
I mean, every day is a day full of learning and excitement, and obviously some challenges as well. That's what we try to solve for our customers. Some other day, obviously we talk a lot about companies, especially SMBs, who are struggling a lot in terms of the supply chain, in terms of how they sell online, how they manage the invoices, how do they manage their supply chain. You have to also understand that. A lot of these companies do not have their own warehouse in the UK. They rely a lot on
Hmm.
3PL and obviously sell through marketplaces like Amazon and eBay. So Business Central becomes a backbone, and obviously you then have EDI from TrueCommerce that really bringing that automation from the invoicing, from the sales order automation, making sure that the pricing and is up to date on the market, and also about the fact that you're eventually shipping the product at the right time, at the right cost for your customer. So every day is full of learning, full of excitement. A lot of
Yeah.
discussions happens, and it's this joy of finding and helping customer to achieve more through these solutions. That's what really keeps me going, Ramita.
We are going to discuss that later in this webcast for sure. Yeah, we are going to go in super duper detailed manner, of course. Okay, maybe let's set the stage here first. And for someone new to this, I'm actually new to this, Shelby. I'm so sorry, I've not been working here for 15 years or more. You're just so like experienced and stuff, and I'm like, okay. And I'm the one questioning, so I think I'm the right audience for you today. So yeah, how does TrueCommerce complement BC, like Business Central? And I mean, especially in terms of EDI, say supply chain or any commerce enablement.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think the thing to sort of mention here is Business Central is a great solution and has lots of functionality within it, right?
Yep.
But I guess the bonus with it is it has the ability to bring in new solutions to really enhance what you get from Business Central. So for us, we don't want to take over that. We want to sit in the background and just really complement it and really allow businesses to drive their business and grow through their ERP system. So TrueCommerce really complements it in the sense that We plug into it really beautifully. Like I said, we've got the certified adapter, which allows us to do that. But it means that customers can sit within their ERP and manage their processes completely as they normally do, knowing that in the background, their supply chain is managed for them. And it's just that sort of synergy of working together that really makes a difference for businesses.
Okay, perfect. So it gives you the strong ERP backbone, but TrueCommerce connects it out into the wider world. I feel, right?
Absolutely. And it means that businesses don't have to learn new processes, right? They don't have to have that daunting task of, oh my goodness, we're implementing a new solution. And it causes chaos within the operations. So, that just kind of eliminates that when we're just saying, hey, your processes stay the same and we're just going to get you out there with the wider world, like you said, connected to all your customers and suppliers.
Yeah, so there's like no time wasted, and it's actually a super, like a powerful combo, I feel, right?
Absolutely. We like to think so.
And yeah, yeah, so do I. Okay, Nitesh, from your side in the UK, when you bring TrueCommerce into Dynamics project while implementation or before even the implementation, maybe during the discovery, what difference does it make to their perspective, to the customer's perspective, and maybe post implementation as well?
Yep. So Ramita, usually most of these companies somehow have a feeling of that there is something that probably they are, kind of missing. They are facing challenges with the way they are kind of managing their supply chain. Obviously, how they sell through e-commerce platforms like Amazon, eBay, other marketplaces, and how the fulfillment happens through their own warehouse or let's say through 3PL. So we do a lot of the discussions during the initial phase of the discussion, which is primarily around during the discovery phase, where we tend to somehow understand that okay, what their business process is, what are their core challenges, and what is that challenge or that they really want to solve from the day one of going live with Dynamics. And if there is anything which probably can be parked to phase two, phase three, we would definitely recommend that. And I think Shelby has mentioned quite a valid point is that eventually a business would want to focus on their core, and their core is to serve their
Hmm.
customers, is to generate revenues,
Hmm.
to make sure that they become more efficient, more productive
Mhm.
across all departments, right? They probably are not that much aware or not should not even want to get bothered in terms of which technology or how you probably will do it. Eventually, what they want is to that if you can solve the problem for them, and this integration bit is I can tell you is a massive problem for them. They may have an ERP like Microsoft Dynamics, Business Central, which is again obviously it's a full-fledged ERP application, but there are certain elements that it just cannot do, right? And this is where something like EDI from TrueCommerce really comes in. And we have had number of discussions where companies, especially in B2C, they sell through Amazon, eBay. Miracle is one good marketplace which really helps customers to
Hmm.
also companies to sell across all these marketplaces. And then they're relying on a developer or probably through some custom integration or maybe some connector which is available, and then trying to sort of doing it internally or probably relying on a partner to do it, irrespective of the
Hmm.
fact that the partner really has that technical capability or not. So and this is where TrueCommerce, obviously Shelby and team really helps us understand and really brings in that automation for the end customers, and that really solves the problem for them. So obviously not from the selling the items, obviously you want to make sure that all the orders that you're selling online, it should reflect into your business central straight away, right? So that you can then
Yep.
fulfill those orders. And then you
Yep.
also have to understand that I may not have a warehouse, my own warehouse, but I may use a 3PL, right? So will the 3PL and how they would know that which item, I've got the sales order, but now I have to ship it right to the customer. So this automation, I think Shelby can certainly add more into this. And this is this process that really gets automated, all thanks to TrueCommerce, and obviously the backbone engine is Business Central, obviously.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Shelby, I hear the term ICP a lot. I mean, which is stand for ideal customer profile, right?
Hmm.
For true commerce, what does that look like? Like, in other words, how do you know which businesses are the best fit? Is it based on company size or the number of orders they handle, or maybe the complexity of their supply chain they have in their system? Like, what is the ITC for you for true
Yeah,
commerce?
yeah, great question. I think, Nitesh, you've kind of touched on that a little bit as well and kind of highlighted some of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
areas.
yeah, yeah.
So true commerce in general, we don't have kind of the we fit enterprise or we fit, emerging. We have the scope across the board. So it doesn't really fit based on size. Complexity as well is one that it's not this is definitely where it fits and where it doesn't, because we can deal
Hmm.
with the most simple of supply chains and we can deal with the most complex. I guess where we fit is with a customer that has challenges like what Nitesh was just talking about, where, they are seeing outdated processes, manual processes. They've kind of done
Hmm.
custom integrations, which they're so inflexible. They're really hard to maintain. They're very costly as well. They're also, that you mentioned as well, putting it on a partner that maybe doesn't have the knowledge to support it, but is trying to support it.
Hmm.
So yeah, essentially anywhere from emerging to enterprise and any complexity of supply chain. But where we want to really make that difference is where the customer is having challenges with their current supply chain. And that's kind of our ideal profile, is where those challenges just can't be met by the solutions they currently have, or indeed when they're coming into a business and they're looking to grow and they don't have any solutions. We want to be able to give them a good taste in their mouth about EDI and not leave
Mm-hmm.
that bad one where they try and fit a square peg in a round hole. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. Uh, I can't remember, but Nitesh, I'm curious to know, like, what do you have to like face? Do you sometimes have to break it this entire system that Excel sheets and emails maybe won't cut it anymore for your clients, and you have to implement this add-on.
Yes, if you are have a huge volume to manage, especially sales orders and lot of shipments every day or let's say every week of the month, you
Hmm.
must bring in these in automation. Otherwise,
Hmm.
you are risking your business. You probably will not be able to serve your customer to an extent that you want to. And then how the market is. There are competitors available, obviously, and as long as you can end up shipping the product and make sure that your customers are satisfied, I think that's what you want. If you do not have that underlying technology to support that vision of yours, some other company or competitors of yours may end up doing that. So yeah, I think it could be a scenario that some of these solutions, or let's say, could be phased into phase one, phase two, phase three, but that end goal has to be pretty clear, especially when we are starting the project. Obviously, we bring in still be in the team to have those conversation initially, so
Hmm.
that there is no
Okay.
surprise for the customer. There is no sort of, they should be aware of, okay, what they probably will, you know, what journey they are going into eventually, probably for next 2 years or more than that.
Hmm.
And yeah, also, I think in terms of the automation that you mentioned about, I think it's about bringing in that end-to-end automation. Business
Mm.
Central can only do so much. You need the expertise from TrueCommerce to help the customer. And I've seen that many a times where companies have to sell items on, let's say, they have their own Shopify, Magento website. They sell through Amazon, eBay, and they have some integration available. They have done that internally or probably through some partners' help. But then every day they have to run the job queue to make sure that, let's say, if they have got 100 orders in a day, only
Hmm.
70 or 80 lands up into Business Central. What about the remaining 20? And then you spend another 30 or 60 good or minutes to sort that out and make sure that those are there in Business Central, and then you end up shipping those products. And if you're, let's say, spending an hour every day for this work, you're talking about good 20-25 hours a month per
Mm.
resource. And that's a lot of time, right? And
That is
And
chaotic
then
as
also you're
well.
not, yeah, and then also you're not sure whether the job has been completed or not. Or there is some order which is, probably there on, let's say, on your e-commerce platform, but you're not able to see that in your ERP. I think Shelby can certainly add onto that if
Yeah.
that's okay. But I think that is
Yeah,
quite common, Shelby. Yeah.
very much so. I think you touched on some really key points there. That automation piece, eliminating that sort of the pressure on resources within businesses to actually do the manual bits that should be being done automatically. It does allow businesses to redeploy those resources and move to more agile styles of working, and also grow their business, and maybe even think new innovative things, because those beautiful minds that are sat there doing manual processes probably have a lot of ideas that they can put back into the
Absolutely.
business. I think the other thing that you mentioned is that visibility piece. It is really key to have good visibility of your entire supply chain, where your orders
Hmm.
are, where your stock is. If you're managing multiple portals or, multiple solutions, you don't have that single view of visibility. And that's what's really key for a lot of our clients, is understanding where their business is so they can really predict the future, and work in a much more agile way. So I think you've definitely hit on some key points there.
So basically, the summary of it is that if I am a startup, I've been into the startup for a year or so. I've gained a lot of clients. I've brought that reassurances of my brand visibility into the market.
Yeah.
I need to maintain that. To maintain that, I
Yeah.
need to obviously I have ERP, but what about my supply chain needs, and what about
Mhm.
my commerce needs, right? We need such integrations because it will help us not only save the time, but it will also help us, to focus on my growth of my business, correct? So yeah, that is what I need eventually. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you mentioned was customer expectations there, Nitesh. There are so many other businesses out there that do the same thing that your business is doing.
Absolutely.
And if you aren't able to keep up
Hmm.
with the customer demands, it becomes, you are detrimental to your own business, right? Buyers
Hmm.
these days, they want speed, they
Absolutely.
want accuracy and transparency, and they really don't care how complex your back office is. They want it when they want it. So you really have to move with the times to be able to give that customer experience and create that customer loyalty.
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay. The supply chain has been through a roller coaster, I believe, since the pandemic, right?
Yes, it
So
has.
here in yeah, here in 2025, what major shifts are you seeing, Shelby? Like especially for SMEs, or how they're rethinking their strategies?
But you have hit the nail on the head. It has been a turbulent probably 5 years. I like you
Hmm.
said, since the pandemic. And I think when you also think about things like the energy crisis that we've seen, it's meant that, business running costs have skyrocketed. In the more recent times, the last sort of 8-12 months, when we've seen the geopolitical changes that have, these
Hmm.
tariffs that are really being imposed on businesses and making them try and understand how they navigate the new world and trade cross borders, and whether that's importing or exporting. It's had a massive
Hmm.
impact on the industry. Of course it has. But it's taught, I think, CFOs and CEOs and FDs that they need to build resilience into their manufacturing, their distribution, their retail. And I guess coupled with the useful AI, and I kind of call it useful because I think AI has been around for a very long time, but it's kind of been a bit gimmicky. And I think in the more recent years, it's become very useful. I think now we're
Hmm.
seeing a lot of businesses move to be able to be more resilient. They're leveraging AI to build that resilience. They're learning from the past and future-proofing
Yep.
businesses against that turbulence that we're still yet to see. We don't know what the future is going to build. So, we need to make sure that we can adapt, and using things like AI, I think, are going to be huge within the supply chain industry, especially
So
within the
true.
visibility piece, the predictive analytics, so that they can look at their businesses and see those trends and know what they need to be doing with their stock levels and things like that. I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah, Nitish, I want to know your POV now on the UK businesses looking at supply chains differently now. What's their that top of their mind, and when they talk to you about digitization?
Yeah. So I said, Ramita, ERP is just one part of the digitization. It's definitely is the main crux of everything around their back office operations.
Yep.
But it's just the starting point, right? You
Hmm.
probably be able to manage your core operations through that. But then if you are a scaling business, if you have got a lot of volume, a lot of orders to probably manage, not only from the online marketplace, let's say if you're a retailer, but also from the EDI side in terms of how you're managing your warehouse and 3PL. And I think it's this entire end-to-end digital sort of automation that companies are now thinking. Uh, Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know, and then it's our job to make sure that they tend to understand that what is kind of bothering them. Sometimes they want to hear from you that this is the problem that they're facing. They probably may not be that good at discovering that internally. Uh, and I think it all comes down to the core team and obviously our team in terms of helping them understand that this is the problem that we could see in the way you're operating your business and the operations
Hmm.
there. Obviously, we roll out the plan. We obviously help them understand that this is what we are thinking, and if that is good for them to probably go ahead. We roll out the technology across phases. So analysis phase is definitely a big part of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of these automation, as rightly said by Shelby, AI is obviously it's the big part of I think everything that we are doing here as well, both professionally and personally. Copilot and AI, the kind of agents that Microsoft has brought in into Dynamics 365,
Hmm.
the predictive analysis, and obviously using Outlook. So there are a number of things which AI can do. Uh, they are obviously they want help. They definitely discuss in that way, but I think it all comes down to what is the pressing issue that they want to solve. Fasting. The technology is available, and it doesn't mean that you have to bring in all the technology which is in the market to your business.
Correct.
You
Hmm.
have to see what your use case is. Uh, I think there are different layers of EDI. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shelby, that perhaps could be brought in across different phases of a business, how they, tend to grow eventually.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think there are a plethora of options available. But it's about helping them understand that this is what we probably are facing currently, and giving a clear crystal sort of a roadmap and bring in technology and eventually help them achieve what they want to achieve, right? So you
Yeah.
don't want to overcomplicate things. You don't want to bring in any other tool which probably take years for them to learn. Uh,
Hmm.
we don't have that much time now, with everyone around us, the number of things that we have to do every single day. And you don't want another technology that just sort of, overcomplicates what you already have. Shelby, you want to add your thoughts on this?
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think now is a great time for businesses to be evaluating what they
Hmm.
need. But like you said, it has to speak to their challenges. They can't just be adding things for the sake of it because it sounds good and it's the
Mm,
buzzword. If it doesn't make sense for the business, don't add it. It's that simple. But I
mm,
think exploring your options and just understanding where you can make enhancements to an already brilliant core is really going to be key for businesses moving forward.
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's more about staying competitive in a really
Yeah.
unpredictable market, especially
Mhm.
as
So true.
Shelby and Nitesh, you both have mentioned about the AI thing, which is, businesses, not even businesses, us three also have to like keep updated with what's going on in the market, right?
Yeah.
Be it AI, be it supply chain, be it any perspective topic that we can, get a bang on our face, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So true.
this is one of my favorite segments now. Stories. Stories always make things real, right? So I want you, Shelby. I'll come to you later, Nitesh.
No
Shelby,
problem.
I want to start it with you. That maybe you can share an example of a business that saw
Mhm.
that transformational result with TrueCommerce and Dynamics 365, of course.
Yeah.
Like, what were the, maybe you can start with what were the challenges before and how did this integration help them
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
business?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess one that sort of springs to mind for me is they're a luxury linen brand. You know, they work with brands. Oh, they work with retailers like Harrods. They also have their own stores across Europe, actually. And they were going on a digital transformation journey, and that
Mm-hmm.
included Business Central for
Hmm.
them. And what they kind of did was, I think to what you were saying, Nitesh, earlier about not seeing that there were certain things that were needed and when they were
Hmm.
needed. They did the ERP implementation kind of standalone in a silo, and then
Okay.
left their, I guess, outdated processes and tools, kind of trying to make them work together. And it just
Mm,
wasn't working. You know, they were having real problems with that visibility, being able to analyze their business as a whole and make those predictions on where their trends were. You know, obviously retail is very much a up and down when it comes to throughout the year. Some periods have peaks and some have troughs, and they just didn't have that visibility. They also had problems in overstocking, and then not delivering because they hadn't read their stock correctly, and they weren't, to your point, Nitesh, when you're managing a 3PL, they weren't in the right place at the right time. So there was some real challenges. So obviously, you know, working with them to establish what those challenges were and how we needed to address them was really going to be key. So implementing integrated EDI into Business Central meant that they didn't have to learn new processes. What they had to do was
Hmm.
figure out what they were going to do with all this spare resource they had. Now they weren't managing
mm,
manual processes. So, you know, it was great for them to be able to kind of reimagine their business a little bit, figure out where they could grow, develop, and you know, new innovative solutions or products for them, new innovative products. So it gave them a real business change. But I think if they'd have maybe looked, to Nitesh's point, to do it at kind of that critical moment, it might have been a slightly smoother process. So it's a learning for other companies. You know, maybe it is a phase one, maybe it's a phase 2 or 3, but look at everything at that phase 1 point, understand where that's
mm.
going to fit in your business, and what the biggest impact is going to be. So yeah, they've grown now, and they're doing really well, and are happy, which is what we like to see with our customers.
Hmm. Perfect. I mean, I love that example. Do you see similar points, the pain points in your clients, Nitesh? Like compliance is like too much manual rekeying or just marketplace chaos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Namita. I think that's part of every day that we do. And I think one example which I could certainly share is that one of our client, which is a distributor of kitchenware and dinnerware based out of London, and they were using Business Central and Dynamics CRM, and I think there were 5, 6 add-ons that they brought in on top of these two
Mm-hmm.
solutions. And obviously, they were not happy with the way the integration, the workflow was going around across all these applications. And when we had detailed discussion with them, obviously it took a couple of discussions with them. And we tend to realize is that they have too many add-ons that they could manage. They the kind of business that they have got, they probably do not need those many add-ons. Some of these add-ons or the functionality of those add-ons were a standard fit in Business Central. They probably were not aware of that.
Mhm.
And then they had different partners managing these different applications. Imagine you have 4 partners managing 5 applications for you. So, you know, it takes a lot of time and efforts and energy to manage, to help each and everyone understand. And then you have to somehow figure it out how these different partners would work together, and then
Yeah.
what and they obviously sell a lot of items through Amazon, eBay, and they have their own website as well on Shopify. So we implemented Business Central, Sales CRM, brought in EDI as well, along with their application. So I think it's about making things simpler and easier for your customer. I think that is what they eventually want. They
Hmm.
would want to use technology, but they do not want to attend a crash course to learn that technology. And
Yeah.
they obviously want
Hmm.
to make sure that the end users who probably may not be in the decision-making authority, should feel easy and happy while using that technology. It should not even look like that, they are
Mhm.
being using a sort of, a big tech per se. But all of these, automation eventually happens at the back end, obviously through TrueCommerce and through Dynamics 365. Uh, so yeah, the number of scenarios, Namita, and but this is one example which I could certainly say in terms of
Yeah.
how we helped both not only from Dynamics but also from the area perspective, the likes of TrueCommerce.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's such a clear picture. Thank you, both of you. I mean, it's always helpful to know that these aren't what we are talking are just theoretical benefits. These are actually we're talking about is the real world outcomes. And that's why I love this part where we can, prove it to the world that
Mhm.
yes, these add-ons and these integration and the implementation of business central is somewhere making a huge change into their operations. I mean, like me as a business owner, I would not want to uh, break like waste my time. I'd rather say waste my time in my operations, like what is happening in my back end. I want to
Mhm.
focus on how to increase my revenue, how to grow my business, and yeah, so that's all what it comes to in the end, right? So
Yeah,
thank you both of you for your stories. Yeah.
no problem. So just to add on to this,
Yeah.
I think with regards to the advancement of AI and a lot of information which is available online, to all of us,
Yeah.
uh, we usually recommend that, to the businesses that, be open to change.
Mhm.
Change is good, right?
Hmm.
What you probably are be using for, let's say, for last 5, 10, 15 or odd years, you may continue to
Hmm.
use it and it may give you sort of okay result that probably you might be getting right now. But if you really want to scale your operations, really make sure that you are making a big impact in the market,
Hmm.
you have to have those technologies in place. If not now,
Hmm.
maybe later. But you should be open and express yourself freely to the potential partner, because we obviously understand not only just the technology but also the business process side. And
Mhm.
we also bring in the likes of Shelby and the team to have those conversation and help them eventually, even if they don't want to take the decision right now. That's totally okay. But the end goal is to help them understand that the solution is available, the help is available. It's all
Hmm.
about when you want to do it, the
You're not
how.
alone in this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And the advancement of technology, a lot of these companies or retailers are eventually selling online, and they need
Hmm.
that sort of both online and offshore, offline sort of automation in place. So yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think we have
really
another.
important. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think
shall
that's
we?
really important, actually,
Yeah, yeah,
Mitesh.
continue.
I think
Yeah.
the world is changing so rapidly, and there's so much competition out there nowadays. And I think to your point about just envisaging that future and understanding where technology can take them, because like you said, if they don't move now, that's fine. But their competitors might be moving now. And if your
Absolutely.
competitor is moving, they've got that competitive advantage. And you need to just leverage that and figure out how you can get to that point as well and not get left behind and sort of frozen in time by outdated solutions and things. So, no, I think it's a really valid point.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's talk about EDI and compliance. Yeah. So as far as I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, both of you. This is just my try. So I can explain EDI in a simpler, shorter term, and we can discuss more about it. Like just to make this a little bit more relatable for our listeners, right? So when we say EDI, we can think of companies like Tesco ordering stock from the
Yep.
suppliers, correct?
Yep.
Or even Amazon sellers getting hundreds of orders a day, right?
Yep.
So instead of someone actually manually typing in all those orders, every order or invoice, EDI let those documents flow automatically between systems,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And maybe it's like cutting out all the copy paste headaches and letting the systems talk to each other directly with the help of invoices and orders, and you don't even have to intervene, and because all you are doing is you're just getting an order, and without wasting your time you're not typing anything. And yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, and Shelby, EDI often definitely feels intimidating for businesses
Mm.
new to it, right?
Yeah.
So how can I want to know your POV now. How do
Mhm.
you simplify that experience for the first time adopters? And maybe first you can also give a perspective of what is EDI.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head with what EDI is in its most simple terms. Essentially, all businesses are running lots of different solutions, right? Lots of different ERP and business systems. Those business systems don't always talk the same language, as we know. And what EDI does is it sits in between them and transforms and translates the information to make sure it can be readable by both systems. So you have an order from a supplier to Sainsbury's or Tesco's is placing an order on one of their suppliers. They'll write it in their ERP language, whatever that may be, and they need to get that into the supplier's ERP for them to action that order. Essentially, what you've just said is, yes, we take that information, we translate and transform it, we pass it on through to the supplier, and then the same, the reverse way back. You're right, it can be intimidating. I guess it's intimidating because it is complex, or at least can be. If it's done wrong, it can be very hard to manage and very costly. I think that's where the intimidation kind of comes from. And I guess people that have been doing it in a manual process their entire business journey, it's familiar to them. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for years, and so that thought of change is quite intimidating. I guess for TrueCommerce, we want to take that out of the equation, and we want to take that headache out of the equation. And so by simplifying it and saying, we will take care of literally everything. We do the heavy lifting. So, Dynamic Square, you guys, you do the BC implementation. We work with you a little bit because it's actually quite light touch when we talk about our integration. But we work with you a little bit to make sure the integration is there. It's mainly about those business processes that you mentioned, Nitesh. And so we work with those business processes to understand a business and then implement the EDI to work seamlessly with their business processes. And I think one of the biggest things that our customers love and tell us that they love is our managed service, because it's proactive, which essentially means that we're constantly monitoring. And a lot of the time, if there's an issue within the EDI, customer doesn't even know it's happened, and we're telling them it's solved. So it's that thing that sits in the background and they don't have to worry about it. And Nitesh, to your point about having to learn new systems, it just takes that away. We just manage everything for them.
Absolutely. I think you have summarized it quite well, Shelby. And just to add on to this, I think you have made a very valid point in terms of support the customer eventually want. Eventually what they want is that if something messes up, there should be someone that they can talk to and get that sorted.
Yeah.
And I've seen that many times. Companies who rely on different partners, they have a lot of open tickets. They do have the access to all the portals in the world, and in terms of raising that request to your, let's say, EDI partner or Dynamics partner per se. But then nothing really happens. You are relying on a lot of back and forth email communication. Calls happen, but doesn't really happen anything substantial. So I think it's a support. It's adopting a technology is just one part of it. It's how you're able to leverage it, right? Day in, day out. And you need that the people who you can trust on, who you can probably can talk whenever you think that you might need some help. And they should be able to get it sorted. They might not be able to do it then and there, but eventually they will understand your requirement, the problem, and get it solved. So we experienced that personally. Obviously, the TrueCommerce team is the support that we get for our customers. So I think you have explained it quite well, Shelby. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that you mentioned, that back and forth with support that tends to happen. And I think that's because sometimes the lines aren't clear where that potential issue has come from. Is it the ERP? Is it the extension? Where is the responsibility? Where does that lie? And I think that's one of the beautiful things about TrueCommerce and Business Central is it's very clear where that line is. It is either within the ERP or it is within the TrueCommerce solution. And there's no need for that back and forth because the line is pretty clear. So it kind of eliminates that support headache that we see all too often.
Yeah. Okay. Apart from EDI, Shelby, what other solutions does also TrueCommerce provide to support that end-to-end commerce operations?
Yeah, so we do have a number of complementary solutions. We have our own B2B commerce solution as well. I think probably the hot topic that's on everybody's mind at the moment is e-invoicing. It is it's huge in the industry, and obviously especially within Europe. I think UK we haven't got it yet, but it's coming. E-invoicing has been around for forever. It's always been part of EDI, but the thing now that's making it the hot topic is all the regulations and compliance around it, all the C2C elements, which please don't ask me to go into because I have no idea what any of it means. But yeah, I think the real key here is that TrueCommerce has had to pivot a little bit to expand our portfolio and understand all of those regulations across all the countries to allow businesses to continue trading when that e-invoicing piece comes in. But there's lots of different sort of complementary things that we can do, but it does all pivot around supply chain.
Yeah, we can do another podcast with that then later.
Absolutely. An e-invoicing one would probably be a good idea. Yeah. Not me though. I wouldn't know.
No, we'll give you some time to prepare for it.
Give me some homework.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Nitesh, you were saying something.
Yeah, I think it's good to know, Shelby, that you're coming up with the e-invoicing, which is a big part of everything that companies do. Obviously, I think if that would be done from TrueCommerce, is that just for Business Central, or are you planning for FN and SCM as well going forward, Shelby?
It's across our portfolio. So we're in essence we are ERP agnostic. We can support any ERP. We have worked with the key players in the market for a long time. Business Central obviously being one of them, and FNSCM the other, and they're two of our strongest markets for ERP, of course. So yeah, we're agnostic, but those are my favorite. I have to say, I'm Miss Microsoft within our business, so they're my favorite.
Absolutely, I think this could be a good use case for companies who. So usually, what happens is that they said they have different partners. One could be for EDI, another one could be for AP automation, another one could be for warehouse automation, and if they have one reliable partner who can do all of these things on its own, I think that saves a lot of time, a lot of coordination, sort of energy usually gets wasted. Because you're already talking to a partner for your dynamics, and then you have 10 other partners for 10 other things. And if as that should be if this e-invoicing is the solution would come in, I think a lot of these companies who need one partner for the EDI invoicing and get that. I think we have the right partner solution available.
Definitely.
Are there any misconceptions around EDI or B2B integrations, as you're saying, Shelby, that you wish that business just could unlearn?
Yeah, and I think we've touched on a few of them actually. I think it's that complexity piece. There is that misconception that EDI is complex, it's inflexible, and I think that's probably stemmed from homegrown EDIs and kind of bolted on integrations that make it seem like that. Obviously, cost is the other thing that, EDI is really expensive. And I guess the reality is, if it's done wrong, it will be. It's going to be expensive, or it's going to be ineffective because it's going to be inflexible. So it's that that misconception that needs to be realized in terms of you've not got the right partner. If that's what you're facing, you've not had the right partner. And I think it speaks to ERP as well. When you're talking Business Central, FNSCM, you guys must have that ideal customer profile that sits really well in what you guys are good at. And it's the same with EDI. If you're trying to make a solution fit and it's not fitting, and we've seen this before, that's when people kind of get scared of EDI and don't want to be involved. But I think if we can just open that conversation a little bit and just explore the art of the possible and understand it a little bit better and understand the fit that you need and talk more about the business challenges and how we resolve them than, hey, this is my product and this is its feature and what it does, I think that makes the difference, to be honest. So yeah, having those more business conversations makes a huge difference.
Yeah, this actually gives a huge emphasis on why a support partner is also very important.
Absolutely.
Like how important it is for your support partner to be right, Nitesh?
Absolutely. And I think another good point to add in here is that if not every partner can do everything. There are areas, there are layers of technology that where you needed expertise. Let's say for EDI, you need TrueCommerce. So I think that is where you probably need help. And I think you probably should ask these questions to your potential partner as well. And eventually partners should be honest enough to tell you that we do this and this, that, and but we don't
Yep.
do EDI, and obviously the experts available. But if your partner is saying that we'll do ERP, we'll do EDI, we'll do XYZ for you, so which means that there's a red flag. They think that they can do it, you should definitely discuss about the use cases, what kind of customers that they have worked with. But I think you probably get to understand and learn more about a partner if they are honest, and I think it's very important, especially in this day of AI and all. I think the first thing that you should do is be authentic and say upfront that this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do. But then obviously we have support partners to help you on that journey. So so I think these are the conversations that should happen initially, irrespective of whether you end up adopting the technology or not. But
Yeah.
I think all the parties involved should be honest and should share their thoughts freely, and eventually decide whatever is the right fit for the customer.
Yeah,
I think it's really important as well for the ERP partner and the ISV partner, so the add-on partners to work very closely together and to be honest and transparent with each other, right? The capabilities of TrueCommerce, we know the capabilities of Dynamics Square, and it's good to be able to fit that peg in the right hole and be able to say, hey, look, this isn't a fit for us, and we want to just call that out now so that we're not getting down the road and finding that there's business challenges that we should have addressed at the start. So I think that honesty works with knowing as a client that your partner and their partners are very collaborative as well.
Okay, let's also talk about e-commerce specifically now. Shelby, what do you see as the biggest challenges that companies are facing in today's time in online commerce segment?
Yeah, perfect. And I think we have covered some of these. And I think, one of the three challenges that really come to mind for me is complexity, visibility, and that customer expectation piece. As I say, we've kind of covered them, but just to go into a bit more depth, I think you've mentioned, companies are selling across multiple channels, kind of more than ever now, their own web stores, marketplaces like Amazon, Shopify, traditional retail, and kind of keeping those channels aligned and without creating silos is really, really hard. That also leads into kind of visibility. They don't have a single view of orders, inventory, fulfillment across those channels. I still can't say channels. I don't know what's wrong with me today. And that's really where the mistakes happen. I mentioned it earlier in my my customer example with the linen company. The overselling of stock and the delayed orders because the stock isn't in the right places, and you get that frustrated customer experience, and that I think is what is really going to be an issue. We've spoken about buyers needing speed and accuracy. They really need to know that their experience is seamless from start to finish. And so the challenge really at the moment is making all of that complexity work together without draining resources. And so obviously that's, where platforms like TrueCommerce come in and can connect all those moving parts into one ecosystem and really give companies the kind of control back and letting them scale without losing customer trust, which I think is key massively.
Yeah, I mean, Nitesh, on your side, which e-commerce platforms do you see more often needing this integration with BC in the UK?
Primarily, these are Shopify and Magento. I think a lot of
Amazon
American
also?
Amazon, eBay definitely. So
Yeah,
it depends, in which journey the customer is. They usually tend to start with Amazon and eBay because that's a bit easier way to start off.
yeah.
And then obviously you tend to build your own website, e-commerce website on Shopify or Magento.
Hmm.
And if you probably, sell across different marketplaces, you need, Miracle as a solutions where you need not to manage different marketplaces. You just have, one marketplace where you can flow in all the information. And so yeah, these are the major, you can say, e-commerce platforms out there. And yeah, unless maybe Shelby, if you want to add anything on this, but I think most of these use cases which we have found, especially when we're talking about Business Central, we have found these two or three e-commerce platforms which are quite popular in the UK. Not sure about other markets.
Yeah, business do want multiple channels, but they don't want that headache of managing each one
Yeah.
separately, right? And you basically don't also require, or you don't spend on a small army retyping them, right? That's perfect. That's
Absolutely.
actually a one of the cost savings benefits you get. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So now coming to the omni-channel commerce, I'm not aware what does it actually means, but I have some points for this. Is that my understanding in this is that imagine you order a jacket online and it doesn't fit. So with omni-channel, you don't have to explain yourself all over again. You can walk into the store, exchange it instantly, and the system already knows your order. Like everything is connected, so it feels like one smooth experience a customer needs to have, right? So if I want to take name, maybe I'll give an example of Zara. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I ordered a dress online, I didn't like it didn't fit me or something, not because I'm getting fat, okay, never mind, but I just didn't like it simply. um so I don't need to go through that hassle of I need to give reasonings and stuff like that. I can go to the store, I can exchange or return it. So that's what omni channel comes under my understanding. So can you also give a little can you throw a light on this topic, Shelby, for me, please?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's probably best if Nitesh starts, because I think from the omni-channel that you're talking about there, which is a great example, I think this
Mm-hmm.
sort of sits more within that connected ERP system where all of the businesses across all of the, stores, etc., are all connected. We kind of sit in the background of it with the data that's
Mm-hmm.
being passed. So I think, yeah, Nitesh, it's probably
Yeah,
best if you speak to this one.
no problem, Shelby. So yeah, it's I think majority of these processes are are required by a retailer, and there's a POS solution that usually takes care of all these solutions. ERP is the backend technology managing the omnichannel experience, but it's purely the retail POS solutions which are out there that manages both online and offline orders for the customers. And then obviously talks to ERP at the back end, and then uh, obviously they probably would require some sort of EDI through to commerce. So those kind of technology bring in terms of warehouse automation, or in terms of, let's say, managing those orders, the flow of those orders from online to the backend ERP. But omnichannel is experience, making sure that your customers are loyal to you, making sure that they get all the updates, notifications in terms of what you are doing. If there's any offer available out there, and I think it's the shared experience that I can walk in, I can even buy an item or a product from a store. But I can
Hmm.
also raise a request online for returning that item, right? Vice versa.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
this is what a retail point of sale software does, that manages this both in store and an online experience for the customer. You then have technologies like store manager and POS, and then the ERP, which probably may not sit in that, let's say, store or that online store, but it does
Hmm.
takes care of your stocks, obviously the pricing, the customers, the vendors, the financials is taken care through the ERP. Obviously for ADI, TrueCommerce, you bring in the automation around your sync of item prices, sales orders,
Yeah.
warehouse shipments, and obviously billing invoices as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when you tie up TrueCommerce with Business Central, it also, like, it doesn't turn into chaos, right? It is
We hope
seamless.
not. We hope not. That's not the plan. We're hoping to turn chaos
Yeah.
into calm, is what we're hoping for.
Yeah. Like when you, because you have, then you have to like get this extension to be integrated with BC, right?
Uh,
So
but
go, Nitesh,
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, perhaps Shelby, you can probably share in terms of how usually you onboard a customer,
Mhm.
from the journey of initial discovery to the adoption of the through commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, maybe on this, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, initial discovery tends to happen at the early phases. We talked about this earlier, getting in early and understanding the business process and where it fits. And we establish obviously where we fit and when we fit. And then in terms of the actual integration of the solution, it's actually quite simple. We have I don't know what they even call them, but we're on AppSource. And so it's a downloadable application from AppSource, which is generally done by the ERP partner, downloaded. And then we work in the background to sort that integration piece out, make sure those suppliers are connected, be them customers or suppliers. With the right messaging and all of that good stuff happens kind of in the background. Obviously working very closely with the customer to understand that business process, make sure the right things are in the right fields or being pulled from the right fields. And essentially, it's the heavy lifting that we do to make sure that it is working. There is some small amounts of training that can be done, because although we like our customers to live within their ERP system, we do have a sort of an outside solution that is our main hub that carries all their data. They can look in that, they can work in that if they choose to. I would say that 99% of our customers have a look at it in the first week and then never look at it again, because they know that it's all being done in Business Central. But there's some training that goes on for that, just so that there's a super user, they understand what happens in the background. But for most of the end users, they have no idea that portal even exists. So and that's kind of the journey. And then obviously when our customers grow, it's a very simple process for them. If they're entering a new marketplace, if they're adding a new retailer, they raise a request with us, we connect that retailer or that marketplace, and it's there, away they go. So yeah, we like to keep things simple as possible.
Much clear to me now. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay. Nitesh, do you have any points, or should I continue?
I think you can continue, Shelby. I think
Okay,
it's been
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the topics here. Now, let's also talk about some future outlook as well. looking ahead, Shelby, what trends in commerce, automation, or supply chain integration are you most excited about?
I think we've covered this quite a bit, and I think everyone covers it in everything actually. So that magic word of AI, I think like we said, we've seen
Yeah.
a lot of turbulence in the supply chain
Yes.
recently and in the last few years, and I think with AI being useful, as I like to call it now, I think there's going to be some really exciting things happening, mainly around that predictive analytics, really allowing companies to hone in on all the trends and what they're seeing in their own marketplace, and allowing them to be more agile and be more resilient and predictive for
Hmm.
the future. So I think, as much as it pains me to say AI is going to be the future, but I do think it is the future. And I think you said earlier that we're all sort of using it more and more now. I avoided it
Yeah.
forever, and then I have now lovingly named my AI assistant ChatGPT, and I shouldn't say that, and I'm sorry, Microsoft Copilot, but it's because it's the one that I got used to. But I've lovingly named him Jeff, just so that I can say that Jeff has helped me with a project. So
That's so
um,
cute, actually. Yeah.
That's
I will
interesting.
get
Yeah.
on board with Copilot, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, since TrueCommerce works with both BC and FSEM, how do you see customer needs differ between the two?
That's a great question, actually. So I think there's, and I'm sure it is this. You guys are the experts in this, but I'm sure it's the case that BC kind of has its fit somewhere, and FNSCM has its fit. I think the thing that kind of makes it the differentiation for us is Business Central is that lovely solution that is kind of a much quicker installation. Obviously, the time to value is quicker. And that's kind of where our solution fits as well. It's a more plug and play style experience for the
Hmm.
BC user. Obviously, it can be customized, but I think most BC implementation partners are trying to avoid customization and use the standards of BC wherever possible. So it becomes that sort of plug and play, easy to use solution. With FNSCM, it is a much deeper embedded integration, and we see that obviously enterprise businesses need that much deeper
Yep.
analytics for their business, etc. There's a lot more customizations in FNSCM, and so it does become a more complex solution. Of course it does. And it tends to fit more where there are more complex supply chains. Again, similarly with FNSCM in general, when there's more complexity within the business, they have businesses worldwide, etc. I think that's where it kind of fits. Having said that, I think you guys will know this. I think we're seeing BC doing some really great things in some of these bigger enterprise or mid to enterprise businesses as well. So I think there's a place for both in the market. It just depends on,
Hmm.
I guess, your speed of integration and speed of need of time to value that you need. So yeah, I think there's some interesting differences between the two.
Yeah,
So true, Shelby. And yeah, just to add on to this, I think obviously both these solutions have their own capabilities, and it's usually SMB space is well served by Business Central. But I think there's
Mm-hmm.
a series of steps that we usually discuss and identify, which probably is the right fit for a company.
yeah,
And a lot
that's
of
what
these
my next question was
discussions,
too.
yeah, a lot of discussions revolve
Yeah.
around, the number of legal entities that they've got, how complex their business
Mm,
processes are, do they do any
Hmm.
manufacturing or not, how many users they would have eventually using the application, because we have to understand that if you have to opt for, let's say, an FNSCM, you need a bare minimum 20 full user license, right? So,
Hmm.
and then it's also about, do you have operations going on across different geographies? Are
mm,
you just a UK-based company, or you have operations in other parts of the world? Would you require a localization to manage the local taxes of different countries? As rightly said by Shelby, the complexity of your business processes is so key to understand which solution might be the right fit. Obviously, whenever we are also not sure, we tend to go a bit deep in understanding their core business processes. We do that through analysis phase. and we cover that off in terms of what eventually would be the right fit for the company. But whenever some company usually reaches out to us, we, to an extent, we understand and know, which solution might be the right fit for them. But Shelby, definitely a lot of these companies, especially mid-size, they're doing quite well using Business Central. So as you know, that Business Central has become quite capable now. Navision has grown so much now, and you get a lot of these updates. And obviously, thanks to the ISV solutions like TrueCommerce and others, adopting Business Central and making sure that they have all the must-haves covered is it's become quite easy now using Business Central. Easy adoption, easy implementation as compared to FNSCM. And I think it's obviously comparatively easier to learn as well than FNSCM. So I think that could be a different topic, Ramita. But I think there are a lot of discussions that we usually do.
Third podcast, yes.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful perspective, Nitesh. I loved it. I loved that perspective, right? So it means it's not always about a business should overwhelm itself with the tech. It's about what a business is at, like what stage is at, right? And you should get that exact amount of tech what it needs, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's come to another fun part now. Let's do something fun. We are gonna do a rapid fire round with both of you. It's just 3 simple questions. I'm not gonna give you any kind of surprises. Don't worry. So I'll ask each of you one question, and you can answer me in a one word or a one liner. Yes, it won't be a little. You can go a little in short and let not be into this detailed one, since it's a fun game, right? Okay. Yeah. So Shelby and Nitesh, one business buzzword you wish people stopped using.
Oh, I'm going to say mine, but I used it myself earlier and I'm really cross that I did.
ChatGPT?
Synergies. No, synergies. I hate the word synergy or synergies. I don't know why, but there we go. And I used it earlier.
What about you, Nitesh?
I think for me, as I said, I think I've used it quite well and quite often that as well is digital transformation. Sometimes your end customer, they don't know what that digital transformation is. And ERP is just one part of it. It's not everything. I tend to use that a lot. I probably should avoid using that, but I think that is one sort of buzzword, especially in this in this world of ERP and all. I think we tend to use this word quite often than what is not eventually is required. So yeah.
I'm going to listen out for that from you in future, Nitesh, and I'm going to call you out on it next time I hear you use it.
I wish I could be there too, Shelby. I wish I could be there too. Okay. So if you could automate one daily task in your personal life, what would it be?
Can I group it? Can I just, I'm going to use housework in general. I mean, there are automations for that, but I don't like the idea of a robot doing my hoovering, but housework in general, that would be lovely.
Yeah. And what would you
I think for me, it would be, posting regular content on LinkedIn. I think if, we all have a lot of thought, ideas.
God, yes.
If somehow agent can pick that up and just just post it. I think that really can save a lot of my time. So yeah.
I see that in your future though, Nitesh. I feel like that can happen. I think the housework thing, I'm probably barking up the wrong tree. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there are applications available, probably. I think you can use that on your mobile as well. You can share your thoughts using a voice note. It can transcript that in text, but eventually you have to manually post that somewhere. Somehow,
you do
I'm not
actually,
sure.
yeah. And I need to learn that from you. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. My third question to you both is, and the last one is, a book, podcast, or a quote that has inspired your professional or maybe personal journey.
I think for me, it's probably one that has inspired both, but I kind of lean on it both personally and professionally. and it's failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And I think,
Oh wow.
obviously, in personal
Beautiful.
life, it's very much poignant for everyone, I'm sure. But in business, I think it comes down to, we talked about this, understanding your future of your business. And if you're not preparing for your future is going to
So true.
fail. And even this podcast, us having conversations beforehand and what are we going to talk about? Well, it's preparing, right? And if we hadn't done that, it wouldn't have gone as smoothly as I think it has. So, I think you absolutely,
Perfect.
everybody should lean on that one.
Thank you, Shelby. That was so inspirational. Thank you. Yeah. Nitesh?
Thanks. Yeah, for me, there's a book.
I'm sure it's going to be a book. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, there's a quote as well, eventually. But I
Okay.
think so. There's a book called "Be Obsessed or Be Average" from Grant Cardone. He's as a US-based entrepreneur. I think this one book sort of helped me in terms of, so that I could read more books. This habit of reading I actually got from
Hmm.
reading that book. And one quote which I keep telling to myself is, I think I listened to one podcast a few weeks back, and it was like the magic is in the work that you are avoiding. And
Oh, I like that.
and it's sometimes, subconsciously we know what we have to do, professionally, personally. Somehow that we tend to, somehow, tend to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Could be different reasons, but I think if there's one quote, definitely is sort of, I keep telling myself, and if I can keep doing what is supposed to be done, irrespective of what I feel about, you know, doing that thing. So yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that.
About
that's
you,
perfect.
Ramita. Thank you, Shilpi.
Oh my God, no, that's not a good question.
Okay.
But I think is I don't know if it's a quote or something, but it's a belief that I believe in is the if you don't fail, you don't win, you don't succeed. So until
Yeah.
and
Excellent.
unless you fail, you have to fail and just to get that sweet taste of that success in your life, maybe.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I always tell my kids it's okay to get something wrong. You learn, and
Yes,
then you'll succeed
exactly.
next time. So it's so beautiful.
Yeah, perfect. One more thing I've actually learned in this journey, in this ERP journey that I have been through in like 1.5 years, thanks to Nitesh and my whole digital marketing team in Dynamic Square, is maybe you take time to learn things. Maybe you are a slow learner, but when you learn it, when you learn that entire thing, you learn it in such a way that nobody can nobody can compete with you, nobody can be as good as you, because you have
Mhm.
taken a lot of time to learn that in a deeper emphasis way, right? So
Yeah.
I feel slow learners are better learners, I feel.
I passed my
Pretty good
driving
point.
test third time round, so I agree with that. I mean, I'm a great driver now, so
You in UK, DL are like DL is so hard, like the tests are so hard in UK.
it is. Well, not
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
took it. I'm older than I look. Not when I took it, it wasn't.
Oh, okay,
Not going much
okay.
harder, but yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's come back to our topic, and let's do a closing segment for now. Is Shelby, for companies wanting to future proof their supply chains, what's that one golden piece of advice you would want to give to companies, maybe to our new listeners, to prospective
Yeah.
clients, anybody?
Okay, perfect. I guess kind of we've talked about the fact that there's been a lot of turbulence, but I think my advice is that this is actually a great time to look at those digital enhancements for the future, not just
Hmm.
through a single lens of optimization or resilience or efficiencies, but more kind of holistically, and there's lots of enhancements available. You've talked about some of them, Nitesh, the POS systems, warehouse management, CRM integration, things like that. I can only obviously speak for EDI. But I think the thing to know is, yes, there's a cost associated to this, but often the ROI for all of these things as a whole is much greater than the cost of the solution. So my advice, there's been some challenges, but take those challenges and turn them into opportunity now.
Perfect. And Nitesh, from your work, what's that one thing that small businesses or any business should focus on as they plan for the next few years?
I think they should be open to change. Change is good, and we have seen that. I think not from business perspective, but from your personal perspective as well. Change is always good. It may look a bit hazy, or that why we are even doing this. But the long-term results, will eventually make it for you in terms of the kind of efforts you put in initially. So be open to
Yeah.
change and discuss that the requirement, your challenges freely to your potential partner. The help is available out there. They can always reach out to us to have those discussions. And you do it or you don't do it, it's up to you. But at least have that sort of a curiosity to adopt technology. It may take another 2-3 years for you, but if you at least start thinking about it, technology can solve a lot of problems for you, which probably a human cannot do. We eventually would need humans, but I think there's the kind of options around AI which is coming in. You talk to us and talk to the team at TrueCommerce, Shelby. I think we should be in a good space going forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. This basically means that business needs to keep evolving, and businesses will evolve when the decision makers will have that evolving mentality in their minds, right?
Absolutely. I always say though, the only constant is change, and if you're adverse to it, you're going to be stuck. So I like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for such an insightful conversation indeed. I mean, I loved this episode so much in today's, one of the best episodes I've ever been. Thank you so much, Shelby and Nitesh, for your such beautiful, detailed insights. We've covered literally everything from maybe EDI myths to omnichannel commerce, and I think what stands out is that technology like Dynamics 365 and TrueCommerce isn't just about efficiency. It's about giving businesses that flexibility and resilience, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Shelby, just before we let you go, where can people connect with TrueCommerce or to learn more about this?
I think one of the easiest ways, given that you're tuned into a Dynamic Square podcast, is reach out to Dynamic Square. You guys, you all have my contact details. You know how to get me. I think that's kind of the first thing you can do. Obviously, it's my preferred route as well, if so that we're all connected. But reach out to Dynamic Square, or my details may be shared as well. I'm more than happy for that too.
Perfect. We'll definitely do that. Nitesh, how can businesses reach Dynamic Square if they want to reach TrueCommerce, or maybe Dynamic Square if they want to explore these integrations further? I mean,
I mean, obviously, number of channels available. They can obviously visit our website, which is www.dynamicsquare.co.uk. Obviously, reach out to our LinkedIn handle or YouTube channel as well. They can obviously write an email to us, which is at info@dynamicsquare.co.uk. But I think there are a number of options available. If they are probably listening to a podcast, they probably will have that sort of awareness available. So, but thank you so much for your time, Ramita, and thank you, Shelby, for
so
sharing your
glad,
thoughts and insights. It was pretty helpful and insightful.
Thank you both for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I've loved our chat today. So thank you.
I have to say, you both made supply chains sound way more exciting than I actually expected.
Thank
you for that.
They're not fun, are they?
Thank you so much. And that's why we are here, clearing all of the myths and busting all of those myths and clarifying why you need to be with us to our audience. And that's why we are here doing this webcast right now, right?
So true.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. See
you. You have a good day, Shelby and Nitesh. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.